Hey, welcome back, everybody. I am Ryan, and I'm joined, as always, by my co host Joe, which makes this movie Howl. This time, we are going to be discussing the first 3 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We talked about WandaVision already, and we did a full season recap, or possibly series recap, because I'm not sure if they're doing another season. And we just wanted to talk about it now. It's something Joe wanted to talk about anyway. I don't think we've spoken at all about the show, really, apart from to confirm that we have indeed watched it. So I have some mixed feelings about the way it's gone. I like the way it started. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what you initially wanted to talk about with this before we decided to make it an episode.
I have enjoyed this so far. I got hooked right away. I liked the very opening scene with Falcon and the the character from Winter Soldier, the movie Captain America Winter Soldier, played by George St. Pierre, the MMA star. Oh, I don't remember what his name is in the show, but
Who are you talking about?
the French guy. He was running the outfit, trying to extradite that guy. I guess get him over into Iranian airspace, and he was the one who physically fought Captain America on the boat and kind of went toe to toe with him for like half a second. And that's
Gotcha.
the actor's name is George St. Pierre. He was a MMA fighter who I enjoyed him back when I actually watched a little bit of MMA.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah,
was fun there. And I liked him in the Captain America movie, and I liked him seeing him again in this.
his name is George Batroc, or however you're supposed to pronounce
Batroc,
it.
right? George Batroc.
Yeah.
And just that opening scene really grabbed me in a way that I enjoyed. It was remarkably different from how WandaVision opened up, and I feel like that was done on purpose by Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Although, if you look at when they announced all this stuff, however many years ago, and it had this whole lineup, WandaVision shouldn't have even come out yet. In the slate for it, it was slated, I think, after Loki. So interesting why they put it out in the order that they did. But as I said, hooked me right away. And I don't think, as we talk about this, I want to get into too many spoilers. I'm going to do my best to not do that.
Yeah, probably a good idea since it's an ongoing thing.
Right. But I enjoyed how in the first episode, and I don't think this is any sort of spoiler, but they didn't try and throw them, Falcon and Winter Soldier together right away. They just gave some time to build up the characters a little bit to see what's happening with them. And it's just another way that Marvel is able to show life post snap. What things happened, how it affected people. There's now a global organization that's, I want to say, supposed to be there to help people.
Yeah, the Global Repatriation Committee, I think is what they're called.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And then you've got these antagonists who I hesitate to call them the bad guy, of this series so far. But they're definitely antagonists. What they're trying to do is at odds with what Falcon and Winter Soldier see as things that are okay and that are good. They've gotten their hands on their own super soldier serum, and now there's more of them, and that's a problem. And so it's been interesting to just see some of the character dynamics, some of the things that happened. One of the things when I told you I wanted to talk to you about this, I really wanted to talk to you about the reintroduction of Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the end of the first episode that happened.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. When he steps out at the end of the first episode, I legit thought, as he's got the whole getup on, he's got the mask on or the helmet, Captain America's helmet, the shield, the whole 9 yards. And my first thought was, is that Casey Neistat? Because that's kind of what I thought it looked like.
Yep.
Right?
You I want to say you hit it on the nose, but yeah, you're right. He has that same kind of facial structure that Casey Neistat is, without passing any judgment. Yeah, there's something with the shape of his nose and the way his mouth is shaped and curved and his jaw and all that stuff. Yeah, he just that part of him with the
Uh-huh.
mask, he totally looked like Casey Neistat.
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't just me.
No, it was totally me too. Yeah, but I thought nobody else is going to think that. Like, if they, I know he's a super popular YouTuber, but being like insanely popular on YouTube doesn't mean that anybody in like normal life has heard of you.
This is true.
But yeah, he. It would actually be really cool if maybe he did play the new Captain America
Oh
in
my
just a
gosh.
scene or two, the way that like Daniel Craig played a stormtrooper. You never knew it was him, but it's just like, oh, for this scene it was him because he has the same sort of facial structure as the guy playing John Walker.
Okay. Yeah, that was the introduction of that. This character who's going to play Captain America in the second episode was interesting
Mm-hmm.
as it was. I mean, you see him come out at the end of the first episode, and you're like, oh no, what are they doing? And then you see him in the beginning of the next episode, and he's trying to come to grips with what they're asking him to do. And so far as we can tell, the things that are talked about with him, and he's just a really good soldier.
Yeah, extremely
He's
brave, like very
right.
accomplished.
3 medals of honor, I think is what they
Mm-hmm.
said.
Yeah, and there's a point where Bucky's asking him, "Have you ever jumped on a grenade?" And he's like, "Yeah, 4 times actually. I have this reinforced helmet." It's a whole thing. Like he
Yeah,
just kind of dismisses it. He's like, "Yeah, I do that all the time."
and I don't know how that's going to go. I know that they're not okay with it. Uh,
Mm-hmm. And I
Bucky
I like the
and
reason too.
Falcon, but man, you like the what?
I like the I like the reason that Bucky gives. I don't think it's a spoiler, but when Bucky is pissed that Sam gave up the shield. Sam's like, this isn't my thing. I don't totally understand his perspective on it. Apart from like, I don't want to bear the weight of this legacy that's so many decades old, right?
I kind of felt like it was that myself. That
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't really say that, but that's those are big shoes to fill.
Well, and to be fair, he's also his own hero already. There's kind of been debate before, like if Batman, Bruce Wayne were to step down, who would be the new Batman? Would it be Dick Grayson? Most of the Robins have taken over as Batman at some point or another in the comics. But, in the way that maybe Dick Grayson wouldn't do it because he's developed his own hero identity.
I got you.
I kind of feel it's like that. Falcon has his own identity. He's very well known. There are scenes where people are like, "Oh, wait a minute, you're him, like you're the guy."
There are
So
indeed.
yeah, I mean, there are scenes that are a little more awkward than others, where that happens eventually. I think that's why you hesitated. But yeah, that was kind of my thought. But then Bucky saying, "Well, if he was wrong about you, what if he was wrong about me?" Because Bucky is definitely, you talked about letting things be darker in our discussion about Aladdin,
Right.
and this has some darkness. Although I have a little bit of a problem, I'll just say, with the way they're handling some of the conflict, particularly with Bucky. It's kind of that thing like the memes that you and I send back and forth, where it's like, here's the boss when you fight them, but here's the boss when they are your ally.
Got you.
Bucky was super formidable as the Winter Soldier, and he's kind of not a joke exactly, but he's kind of comical in some ways, and he's the butt of some jokes. You know, I think they're striking a good balance overall, but he could be a little bit more badass, and I'm
I
hoping that comes around more because there was a little bit of that in episode 3, a little bit more
Yes,
than in 2,
that's.
and
I was getting ready to say that I
yeah,
felt that one particular scene in episode 3 where that's exactly what it was, and it was fun to watch.
it was really fun, and I know I'm not real into comics, like not really knowledgeable, not that knowledgeable, especially about Marvel stuff. I do know about John Walker and kind of the trajectory of his story and why he came into the comics. So I'm not sure if that's something we want to talk about.
I know nothing about him. I've
Okay.
not heard of him. I don't know where he fits in.
Yeah, I know why. I know in the original comics why he came in and what happens with him. So I have a suspicion about where this is going.
Okay,
What I really want to see, and I think that would be a little bit spoilery,
that's fair.
so maybe I'll leave that alone. But I mean, anybody can look it up on like fandom.com or whatever. But Marvel likes to repurpose things and kind of twist it to fit the story they have. I've talked about this before. The way that Ultron was created by Tony Stark and Bruce Banner in this.
Right instead of Hank Pym.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. And in this, was it T'Challa? Yeah, it was T'Challa who referred to him as the White Wolf.
Yes.
I think at the end of Infinity War, maybe. I don't know. One of the movies, I think it was one of the end scenes where they bring that vibranium arm, and T'Challa says the White Wolf has rested long enough or something like that.
I could have been the
And
end of Black Panther.
it might have been, but they refer to him as that again, or he refers to himself that way.
Uh huh.
Falcon makes this joke like, "Oh, what you spend all that time in Wakanda, and all of a sudden you're White Panther?" And he's like, "White Wolf, actually."
Yep.
And here's what I'm hoping: the White Wolf was a character named Hunter in the comics. He was an adopted son of T'Chaka, and he, uh, because of personal reasons, ambition, jealousy of T'Challa, he like pushed himself really hard. From what I understand, I don't remember that much of those comics. That was my brother was really into Marvel stuff, so I had like stacks and stacks of his old comics. So the stuff that I read that was Black Panther and Doctor Strange and things like that, that's all stuff I remember from being a kid and getting his secondhand comics.
Got you.
But the White Wolf was like their spy master. That was this character, and he was their spy master. It wasn't Bucky, but I kind of got some spy movie vibes off of some of the scenes of them sneaking around, and definitely in episode 3 where
Yeah.
they're running around doing all the stuff they're doing. And when he says, like, White Wolf, actually, that is telling me that wasn't just an Easter egg and a callback to the comics or a clever thing that T'Challa said. That's like a title, that's a role.
Okay.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping he's going to be doing some more spy stuff. That would be cool. And especially, the person who shows up at the end of episode 3 kind of leads me to believe that he still has more of a connection to Wakanda than we think
Yeah.
coming into it. So I'm really excited for that because I love some spy stuff. Every once in a while, you just got to have some spy movies. And
As
that
long as they're good.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I love so much about that movie, the Winter Soldier movie, was it was basically a spy movie. It was basically like a Bourne movie,
Uh huh.
but it was Marvel, and it was fantastic. They weren't trying to be super funny. They weren't trying to do all these jokes and be real clever with it. They just made a really good spy movie.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a Marvel movie. There were jokes and moments of levity in it, but I'll happily go on record to say it is out of all the Marvel movies that have ever been produced, my favorite.
Yeah, it's my favorite too, and it's tonally pretty different from most of the rest of them. The humor is toned down quite a bit. Yeah, there are jokes like, Black Widow kisses Cap, and she's like, "Wait, was that your first kiss since you've been unfrozen and stuff like that, or was that your first kiss in like 70 years or whatever it is that she says?"
Uh huh.
And then there's the guy in the Apple store who's like, "Whoa, specimen," and after she's like, "Hey, you guys are like twins, same
Twins.
glasses." Yeah, and I
I've
don't
been
know it.
Aaron.
Yeah, but it was a really good movie. They toned the humor down a lot. And I get that in this, there's probably some humor that might bother some people because they might want to see something more like what Bucky did in that. But people responded really well to Bucky and Sam. And I guess that's why they're doing this.
Yep.
That has to be the only reason that they're pairing them. I know that both of them are characters who took up the Captain America mantle at some point.
That's correct.
So maybe that's another reason. But yeah, I think it mostly comes down to they played off each other really well, like especially them fighting Spider-Man in Civil War,
Hmm.
stuff like that. Like they have a really good buddy cop vibe going on.
Yeah, and it's an easy thing to translate into your own series as long as there's some good writing behind it. And so far, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the characters they've brought in, like the characters who we've seen in other movies who are being brought to the forefront once again. And like
Mm-hmm.
in episode 3,
Yeah.
two characters from other movies, and I really liked both of them and what they did in that episode. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's still weird to me to see what is essentially supposed to be a TV show starring movie stars, because they're movie stars.
Yep.
I mean, Anthony Mackie did Altered Carbon, but I still think of him as a movie star,
Uh
right? And it's kind of weird. It would be like seeing Tom Cruise on NCIS or something like that.
huh. Well, I don't think. I think Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan are not necessarily on the level of a Tom Cruise, but they're both Hollywood actors. They're
Yeah,
like
and
without question.
it's just strange to see. Like I saw this episode of Property Brothers, or yeah, I think that's what it was. It was some kind of Property Brothers thing where it was like they were they were doing builds for celebrities who were trying to like give back to people in their lives. So
Okay.
one of them was Justin Hartley, who I really liked as surprise surprise the Green Arrow in Smallville. I'm
Okay.
not going to go on a long Green Arrow rant. He was more
Aw.
true personality wise to Green Arrow than the Stephen Amell version, but I like them both. Anyway, I was scrolling through stuff and I saw that, like Justin Hartley on this episode of Property Brothers. So, I checked that. And then there was another one where they had Jeremy Renner on, and he was having a place built for his mom or something like that. But it was so weird to see an Avenger and a movie star. I mostly know him for the Marvel movies and that Bourne movie he did,
Right.
but it was weird to see him on TV. It's just kind of jarring to see people out of the place that you're used to seeing them.
I can
That's
see
all.
that. Sure. And one thing, since you brought up Anthony Mackie, I wanted to ask you, and this is entirely off the subject of anything we're talking about. Did you see him in the movie with Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne Johnson, Pain and Gain?
No, no, I didn't.
We need to watch that.
Okay.
It's it wasn't what I expected, and it ended up being fantastic.
Hmm. All right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what this show's for.
got that right. Okay, so without spoiling anything else, what else do we want to talk about with this movie? These 3 episodes.
Um, I don't know that I have a lot more right off the top of my head that I have too many thoughts on. I like I believe it was Sharon Carter who shows back up and kind of helps them out.
She does indeed.
Her
Who I
character
I feel like she got kind of a raw deal
as in the movies, or
in the movies.
yeah.
Like what happened to her, how she helped, and
Okay.
like all she wanted to do was get with Captain America. Like they had a thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm clarifying that versus she got a raw deal, like they didn't utilize this character the way they should have.
no, I liked her in the movies. I liked how she was portrayed, and I really enjoyed her and what she did in this 3rd episode. And I
Yeah,
look forward to seeing more of her.
I liked how she's living and she's kind of in exile, and she's like, "Hey, if I'm going to live this way, like I'm going to live this way. Like I'm going to
Right?
just do it."
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really, I don't know, it's a cool perspective on it. It was a cool scene. She was a cool character. She was competent. She was able to do everything she was supposed to do. You know, it was just what it is for me. I didn't watch the Agents of Shield show,
I did.
but
I
they're
watched a number of seasons, not all of them, but I
okay.
watched the first 4 or 5 ish seasons.
So for me, having watched mostly the movies, there aren't that many opportunities to see a Shield agent doing their thing. It was cool to see a Shield agent doing like Shield agent stuff.
Absolutely.
So that was what I enjoyed about her a lot. It wasn't she was one of 1,000 nameless people on a helicarrier, or
And
like
I
in
don't
a
think it's going to
meeting.
be spoiler for us to say the other character that we liked who got brought into this episode is Zemo.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a part in here that I really enjoyed when uh, Bucky and Sam kind of find out a little background on Zemo, and they're like, "Wait, this is what's going on?" And he's like, "Well, I am a Baron, so
Yeah,
like you forget that it's It's Baron Zemo. That's not just something he calls himself. That's literally
His title.
right.
Yeah, which I don't remember if they called him that in the other movies, but
I don't think they did. No.
yeah, that's yeah, it was kind of a funny thing. It's like, so you're rich now, and he's like, I mean, I was royalty until you destroyed my country.
Until you let your robot drop an asteroid on it.
Yeah, I found myself liking him, but again, he was so smart and so good in the movie he was in. I feel like I don't know, he was used in a strange way here.
I don't know. I think I
He was
really enjoyed how he was used here because one of the things you find out in Civil War is he was a Sokovian Special Forces guy. He doesn't
Mhm.
do any of that in that movie. You don't see him acting like a Special Forces agent with that sort of training,
I guess
but you
that's
get to
true.
see some of that here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like Jeremy Renner again in Mission Impossible Ghost Nation, whichever one it is where they're in Dubai.
Oh,
And
maybe.
Jeremy
Is
Renner's
it
like,
Ghost Protocol?
oh yeah, it might be Ghost Protocol. I think those are both things, but yeah, he has this whole thing where he's an office person and Tom Cruise is suspicious of it, so he like pulls a gun on him and he disarms him immediately, and you get to see him do some spy stuff after that. The only question I had about him was about that mask he put on. There's a point where he throws this mask on, kicks a bunch of butt, and then takes the mask back off. Why?
Uh, Product placement? Like maybe they're going to have Zemo action figures?
Mm, I
But
mean, I'm
his that comic book character has that. Why they added that here, what his relationship to it is, if that's the mask that the Sokovian Special Forces used when they're on
mhm.
missions. Like
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's a
it's
good point.
if it's part of his family history. Like we don't know. It could be something that we end up finding out in later episodes, and I kind of hope that we do. That they don't just leave it as well. The comic book villain has it, so he has to have it,
Yeah, so he threw it on for 30 seconds and then took it
right?
back off. That was a little, I don't know, odd, but it was kind of one of those things where I figured there's probably some comic book explanation to it that I just don't know.
Right.
You know, the
There's
way they have him in that coat and the belt and all that stuff, that looked very purposeful, but I'm just not that familiar with his character.
there's some there's several storylines going on. You've got Sam and Bucky. You've got uh, Sharon Carter. You've got Zemo. You've got the what do they call them? The Flag Smashers.
Yeah.
You've got that group. You've got this power broker guy, and I'm not sure because he's chasing these Flag Smashers for something they did. You've got the global repatriation thing.
Mm-hmm.
That how all this is going to tie together. You've got the new Captain America and his partner. Oh my God, what's he called? Is something stupid.
Battlestar, I think.
Battlestar. Oh my goodness, I don't.
Yeah, his real name was like Lamar or something or another, and he's like, you know, and who are you? Like Bucky's like, who are you? He's like Battlestar or whatever, and Bucky's like, stop the car.
Yep.
And he gets out.
that made me be like, all right, now I guess I'm not going to turn this off because Bucky stopped it for me. Thank you, Buck. Oh gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah. So
So,
we'll go on.
something I just wanted to tell you that I think it's funny to bring up, even if we're doing this, that has to do with comic books. But the other day, my oldest daughter told me, she said, I want to read all the Marvel comics.
All of them?
That all of them. Like that's just something you can do. It's like saying, I want to watch all the My Hero Academias. I want to watch all the Attack on Titans. Okay, well, those are two things that you can do. What you just said,
Mm-hmm.
do you know how long how many?
Yeah.
Shut up! Like you have no idea what you just said. Oh my gosh, there's so many.
I mean, it's why I don't keep up with comics anymore, apart from graphic novels. There are
God,
just
there's
so
so
many.
many.
I mean, just within Batman, there are like 11 concurrent, lines, and they intersect every once in a while.
But that was hilarious, my daughter. I think I want to read all the Marvel comics. I don't. What? Do you even understand? No, you don't. You don't understand what you're saying. It's fine. You're just saying a dumb kid thing. That's fine. I
Yeah.
love you anyways. It's great. Whatever. But that tickled me, and I wanted to share it with you, share it with our audience. That was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been in a comic book shop before. So I could never walk in. I could walk in and be like, I would like to read all these, but
But unfortunately, I
it
need
ain't
to
gonna
do
happen.
things besides eat, sleep, shit, and read comics.
I mean, I don't know. When you say it like that, it doesn't sound too bad.
Doesn't sound terrible. Not gonna argue.
There's worse lives to have.
I mean, I'll be honest. I do like some video games. I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
true. That's true. Take a Witcher break every once in a while.
There you
I'm over Cyberpunk. I'm ready for a new Witcher.
go. Well, I have a feeling you got some time to wait there, buddy.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'm ready for some new Witcher on Netflix too.
That I'll agree with you on.
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoyed that. So this Falcon Winter Soldier, we got the first 3 episodes in the bag. If you ask me, watch or not watch, I say watch. They hooked me right away. I like everything that's gone on so far. I really like some of the backstory stuff with Bucky and some of that from the first/second episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, and it it's really helping bring his character into its own as not just Steve's friend, his
Yeah,
little buddy guy.
or the
It's
like really traumatized, brainwashed assassin.
right.
He's
There's going to
becoming a
be an
person.
arc with that.
Yeah, and I like that. Like you were saying at the beginning, they're giving it room to breathe. They're showing you who they are, where they're at in their lives, what's been going on, a
Right.
little
There's
bit of what the
backstory
world.
with Falcon, Sam and his sister, and things that have gone on. So it's interesting the way they've done it, and I look forward to seeing how a lot of this plays out.
Yeah, I would actually say that so far, I think I like it better than WandaVision because none of it has been super confusing. There are no episodes, or I mean, I don't think anything in WandaVision felt pointless, but there were confusing things. Why did they do that? Why did that happen? And we even talked about that they started to question that. Vision's like, why am I sitting here talking to you? And he flies off.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the only little self-aware thing that they did that I really liked was that kid's like, "Hey, Black Falcon," and he's
What?
like,
Why?
"Well, yeah,
Because
why?
I'm
Is it
black and I'm
because?"
the Falcon. I mean, yeah.
And he's like, "So are you black kid?"
And his little buddy just starts laughing. It was great.
Oh man,
I laughed out loud at that. Like that was
yeah,
a great moment,
yeah, it was really funny. Like it's just a little self-aware joke, like a little,
right?
just thing for those of us who remember. I don't know,
A different time.
a different time when you would do something like that.
Because like, no, my dad said, oh well, oh excuse me. If your dad said, that's my bad, kid.
I would agree. This is definitely a watch. At least so far, they haven't screwed anything up. I actually saw an Overlord DVD video talking about a ratings disaster. I didn't watch it. I don't want to be influenced, but I'm going to watch that later. See, maybe other people have a different opinion of it. But there are certain channels and outlets, and I'm not saying that he's one of them. Actually, I would say he's probably not one of them, who kind of can find something to complain about anything.
Mm.
And
That's what people want to hear.
yeah, I mean, people like, if people don't like something, they're going to look for something complaining about it. I mean, what I tend to find is when people complain about something, they've usually got some valid points, but it's never usually as bad as they say. Just like Aladdin, not as bad as we were led to believe it would be.
And everybody's opinion is different.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way it works. I guarantee. I mean, I watched the Stuckman review of Godzilla. His opinion was different from ours.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah, I watched it too. But yep, I think that'll do it for this one.
It'll do it for me. I don't want to spoil anything else. I hope we didn't spoil too much for anyone.
Yeah, it's a little hard to talk too much about it without talking about the story. And
Right?
I mean, it could change. It could go downhill, or it could get way better. Who knows?
I really like what they've done so far, and the best thing I can say is that I'm intrigued to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's supposed to be. When you watch episodes like this, you're supposed to, one episode ends, you're supposed to want to watch the next episode. And I
Yep.
think they've done that.
Yeah, definitely. So if you guys want to reach out to us, our email is moviehowl@gmail.com. Joe is manning our Twitter at moviehowl, and I am now throwing out my personal Twitter. I'm following the show's Twitter account as well, but I am at manpanda. We know there are some of you out there. We'd like to hear from you. So please give us your feedback, comments, spread the word about this if you like it. It's something we started for Grins during the pandemic because we watch movies and talk about them all the time anyway, so why not see if somebody else is interested or wants to share their opinion with us?
Yes, indeed. And just thanks again, Hooligans, for listening. We do appreciate it. We're going to keep doing this just because we enjoy doing it. So
Yeah.
we're glad that there are some who hopefully enjoyed as well. But Ryan really wants you to hit him up. He wants to talk to you. He wants to hear from you.
Mhm.
So help my buddy out. Help him, man. Help a brother out. Until next time, folks. I've been Joe,
And I'm Ryan.
and we're out. We're gonna keep pushing it.
Yeah, like, come on. Email me.